The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by this podcast, as well as its hosts, are for entertainment purposes only. The viewpoints expressed, although based on very real topics, are not to be taken as fact. With that being said, enjoy the show.
Hello, world. Hello, world. Hello, world. Welcome to Part in the Politics podcast. We back. I'm back. Really? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello, world. Hello, world. Welcome to Part in the Politics podcast. We back. I'm back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Really? Part in the Politics podcast. Hello, world, and welcome back to another episode of Part in the Politics podcast, season 3, episode 22. I am your co-host, Jeezy. Along with me, I have my brothers. In one corner, I have brother Manny. Manny, how you doing on this day?
Man, I'm here.
Hey, on the other hand, we have none other than the chairman of Chaos himself, Brother Chuck. Welcome back, brother. How you doing on this fine day?
Really? Let's go, brother. Feeling good, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Glad to be back with my brothers on another episode of Part in the Politics. To our listeners, thank you for returning and listening to us again. If you are a first-time visitor, we welcome you once. We welcome you twice. We welcome you 3 times in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. 3 times. But welcome to the episode. Before we begin and get into our topics, I want to recall something, brothers, that I brought up in a previous episode. And there was a clip where I asked, where exactly are we with Project 2025? Where in the playbook are we at? Are we in the beginning? Are we halfway through? Are we almost done? Well,
I believe we have an answer.
We have an answer.
I thought they said it wasn't real.
Apparently it is.
Somebody told a lie one day.
Somebody told a lie. But we have a clip from one of the gentlemen that is a part of the Heritage Foundation who gave us our answer. So maybe we got a listener to the pod. We asked.
He said the boys at the pod want to know how
they
far.
Want to know.
Where's our progress bar?
Bruh. And we have it.
Pizza.
Well, here we go.
Did the president implement Project 2025 in this first year plus of his second term?
Well, thanks for that question, because since 1980, Heritage has been offering presidential transition projects, which we generally call Mandate for Leadership. What's known as Project 2025 was done on such a scale that we proposed 1,913 recommendations. 1,055 as we sit here have been implemented. The person who deserves credit for that is one Donald J. Trump.
Brother.
These boys moving.
We moving through this. We moving through this a lot faster than I thought.
They said, y'all got 2 years to get all this done.
Because this is what, the administration is what, give or take 16, 18 months in, somewhere around
about
there? 16
months in, yep.
That's a lot of proposals. One thing that stood out to me is that I didn't know they had been doing this since 1980. So I'm curious now as to what, from 1980 up until now, what playbooks or projects have been implemented that we had no clue was out there in the first place.
Diabolical.
And every think tank does it, but to know that they have largely relied on a single think tank.
Bruh.
That brings me into wondering, was some of these failed assassination attempts a part of this?
Uh-oh.
Nah, that...
Starting off early.
Sorry.
I didn't get time to pull the hair out the shelf.
Look, I was like, hold on, wait a minute. That sounds worthy of what?
Just in time. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying, since 1980, one singular think tank operating under this guise, and the amount of processes, the amount of ideas thrown back and forth. For you to have almost 2,000 policy ideas to be implemented for an administrative term, conjuring is what I want to call it, because it's witchcraft.
It gotta be.
It's almost 2,000, and then you need Congress to go in. So you need a body. Sorry, you're supposed to have this body of in excess of 500 people to agree on legislation in some capacity to get this much done, not only legislatively but via executive order. And I think this will come back up later in the episode. That is focus. That is people who are planning. And I don't think Trump is part of any of it.
And that's people who I just don't give a.
Yep. Because I got to imagine that a bulk of this was recycled from his first administration. The problem is that when you pass this along in the first administration to something Manny has said that is different from Trump's first term to this term, is that there were guardrails. You had people that were like, oh yeah, nah, that's not happening. Yeah. Now you got the Stephen Millers that are like, oh yeah, we're getting this done.
I'm coming to execute. Well, and you also, in between the two terms, you don't have a Biden administration that was really focused on rolling back things.
Yeah.
So,
the vote. I think I brought it up on the pod before.
OMB.
Ever since they lost, he kind of went into, I don't want to say not necessarily hiding, but he went into the cave and started formulating and started game planning. So of course, I'm sure a lot of this was a part of the first administration, and then they started curating and building. Okay, this is what went wrong the first time, and these type of individuals that we had in place kind of did a blockade on us being able to do this, that, and the third. All right, now let's get so-and-so and let's get this loyalist and this individual who's going to follow the direction. And,
well, because think about most presidential cycles, you usually have the office for 8 years. This administration essentially had 12 years of planning this out with a 4-year pause for them to position and move people into place. It's like that first administration allowed them to get inside and say, how does all this work?
Get all the information.
So I got to have someone here. I got to have someone here. I got to do that. And you get to map it out. You get to come up with a plan. I would be shocked if any of the policy statements in there are anything new or anything that they haven't recommended before. But the implementation strategy, that was new. That was thought through.
This takes me back to a period in time in our lives, to our college years. And some of the things that we did in undergrad and the way that we took the campus of East Carolina University by storm. When I became a member of our illustrious fraternity, part of the game planning was implementing and putting people in positions in different organizations and parts of the campus so that we could have an impact and honestly an influence as we went to try to do different things and steer things in a more positive direction, not just for us, but for those who look like us and those who are marginalized throughout campus. And then as Jeezy and Manny came along, not only were they able to reap the benefits of that planning the years prior, but they also took up that mantle and carried it further. To the tune of just having the first ever black SGA vice president. Student body president, having a vice president, having 3 consecutive homecoming kings, first black and the first 3 black homecoming kings, and then we threw another one in the mix a few years later that came from G. So I see the parallels. I understand the play. Here we go again. I'm having to give these folks. We're gonna give you your flowers when you deserve them. It's
Jeezy, you remember when I came over from Western Carolina and I dropped that booklet of programs and things ready to go?
Yes. Manny came with a whole book of like, okay, this is what we can do. So essentially, Bro, we were the Heritage Foundation with Project Alpha before the Heritage Foundation became Project 2025. So we can speak firsthand knowledge of how this operates, except for ours was for the good.
For the
good. Game recognizes game.
Yep, there you go. There you go. So yeah, man. We got our answer, and more than half of Project 2025 has gone into play. Which, for a campaign ad, if I'm a Democrat, when you have the end of that clip, him saying, "And the only one who can be credited for that."
Stop, Jeezy. Stop.
See? That's why y'all need to be calling this.
You giving out free game, bro.
That's why y'all need to be calling this. Because wait, I'm telling you, bro. But Chuck, you're exactly right. But so if it is not done, it is not played, then we definitely know the right people are getting the right bucks are going to the wrong people. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's a fact.
With that being said, we will jump into our first topic of the segment. Actually, I think our topic of the segment, it's been a rough week for one Donald J. Trump. And it's not because of any setback of, I don't know if you guys have seen the clip, but they had the clip of talking about Trump going behind that column at the White House and having
soiling himself.
And they said the back of his coat jacket been puffing out a little more than he usually is, so he might be doubling up.
Did y'all see that video edit when it was like BM1
counting them, bruh? Oh my god! And the people started moving away from him. Like,
right.
So the L's that he has taken this week is not pertaining to that, nor the fact that he has had his third or fourth doctor visit in 13 months for a perfectly healthy human being. And I believe this last one, they are saying they are not releasing why he went. So we're not going to take that as an L either. But there are a couple of things.
He's 6'3", 238, completely healthy.
I've never seen such a healthy man need so many visits.
Yeah.
While eating McDonald's.
I just want to say that too. For at that age, you eat McDonald's 3 times a day. It's wild.
It can't be good. It can't be good for you.
Well, if it ain't good for you, it can't be good for your clothes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I mean, he got a seamstress in the house. He ain't got to worry about that. But I kind of think of it kind of like Little Shop of Horror. Whatever is inside him, feed me, Seymour.
Feed me.
If you don't feed it to McDonald's, it's gonna do the reverse effect.
That's the only way he can keep that parasite at bay. You got to give it that Big Mac. It need that Big Mac sauce.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, special cheese,
lettuce, pickle. He need it. You gotta have
onions on the sesame seed bun.
At this point, does he have a button on his desk where he's like, Big Mac?
Bruh.
Let me get them nuggets.
That McDonald's be talking to him like it be talking to Osborne and the Green Goblin, bro. He gotta have it. He be in that white. He don't want it, but he know it's
I gotta have it.
He gotta do something with it. Well, we see him start going on them rants, and I don't know if y'all noticed, bro, but like I can't remember which social media platform it was on. It might be X, but he was tweeting so much at one time. The notifications were like, I thought my phone was like crashing. I just kept seeing it just pop up. I'm like, yo, he is legit. And I clicked on it, and he was like within a matter of like 10 to 15 seconds, just tweet. And I'm like, okay.
I thought that was an API restriction.
Bro.
How do you get to bypass this?
Bro, he got them all sitting in his draft and he just hit it.
Send. Just gotta drop this fire.
Now they got me thinking the amount of just nastiness this guy to probably be sitting in his drafts that he don't post.
Bro.
Man. Diabolical.
Well, I know he got a couple sitting in there because, again, he's took some setbacks this week. but things didn't quite go his way. So, one thing, we've talked about on this show is that, political power doesn't just get tested at the ballot box. Sometimes it get tested in the courtrooms, which Trump has come very fond of. Sometimes it's state legislators. Sometimes it's cultural wars. And sometimes it's the court of public opinion. But this week for President Trump, he took a hit in just about all four categories.
Yep.
Hey, he got hit like Ray J did.
Right.
Stop.
Bro, Ray J got hit and hit that blue screen.
Bro.
I've never seen somebody fall in slow motion in real life.
Hey, that
It was like
processor chip,
confused,
he got that old processor chip.
poor Celeron processor.
Bro, he's operating on 16-bit graphics.
Man, listen, he was on dial-up internet. That thing had to take a while to get.
That slow shutdown. Pew.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Bro, that was wild, man. But Trump definitely has taken a hit. And the first, area I want to talk about is the redistricting war. He took a hit in two key states, in my opinion. So we'll start there. So Republicans have spent months looking for opportunities to redraw congressional maps and to squeeze out additional seats before the 2026 midterm. We've talked about it on this podcast, how that has played out from the Supreme Court to seeing other states respond to the decision that was made. But this week, they ran into trouble in the two states, which most would probably think would be very unlikely to see those challenges or run those problems. But it was in Alabama and South Carolina. So in Alabama, courts have continued to reject the efforts that will reduce black voting power after years of legal battles surrounding state congressional maps. Republicans were hoping that the Supreme Court's more conservative makeup might eventually give them the favorable ruling, but so far that breakthrough hasn't happened. So even in that justice, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Justice Clarence Thomas, who has been
Twice a day,
bro, who has been very critical of portions of the Voting Rights Act, hasn't had enough to deliver the victory that many conservatives wanted. He has made a decision that, look, ain't no need for you to bring this up this way. So then you go down to South Carolina. Republicans hit another political obstacle. The state Senate's Republican caucus failed to advance a new congressional map because several GOP lawmakers, they opposed it. This wasn't Democrats stopping the Republicans. This was Republicans stopping Republicans. The proposal couldn't get enough support inside its own party itself within South Carolina. So, Manny, I'll ask you this. When you look at this in both of these states, in Alabama and in South Carolina, what's more damaging for Republicans? Losing in court like they did in Alabama, or seeing members of your own party refuse to get on board like what we saw happen in South Carolina?
Man, I think it's about perspective, short term, long term.
Yeah.
For the short term, I think South Carolina is a lot worse for them, because when your own people are saying, nah, this ain't it, that's a problem. That's a problem you have to deal with now. We just finished talking about the Heritage Foundation. When in incorporating and implementing all of these plans that you have, you can't do this solo. You need a team with you. You need people who are on one accord to try to get these things done. So to look at South Carolina and essentially them all say, this is not right from a moral basis. They're like, this is not what South Carolina is about. We're not going to do this, is definitely a shot back to them. And something that we have said here on this pod was going to start happening more and more. It was funny early. Well, I won't say it's funny, but Sunday morning, in Texas, just lost. His name is slipping. John, the senator.
What was it?
Corrin. He posted a fable this morning. It was about the frog and the scorpion, and the scorpion comes to the frog and says, hey, can you take me across the river? And the frog looks at the scorpion and says, how do I know that you won't sting me? He's like, well, if I'm in the middle of the water and I sting you, we're both going to die. The frog looks at him and says, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Scorpion hops on the back. Frog takes him over. About halfway through, Scorpion stings him. And then the frog asks Scorpion, why'd you do that? He's like, sorry, couldn't help it. So when the people who are supposed to be helping you are still being attacked, Corn did everything that Trump asked and still got attacked and still got knocked off. Got knocked off. What is the motivation for me as a Republican right now? If I know that you as a leader don't have my back, at taking away the whole moral piece of it, if from a pure strategy standpoint, if I know that you as a leader do not have my back, what is my grounds to support you in doing something that is morally wrong? Take that out of the way. It's just morally wrong. And the final kill vote was, I believe, 26-18. So 12 Republicans joined Democrats to block it. It's not like we got one or two defections. Yeah. We got a strong block of people. So South Carolina and that issue is going to be a problem for them this go round. Not only for midterms, but it's going to be a problem for Trump from now until the end. We said it last week with Corn losing. What's his motivation to help Trump? Tell us, what's his motivation to help Trump? They don't really have any. Alabama is kind of a little different situation because you thought you dotted your I's, you crossed your T's with this gutting with the Voting Rights Act, thinking that, hey, we're good here. You're not. I think in this, it is a unexpected situation that they just hadn't prepared for, or they knew it was coming and was just like, okay, we'll test this in Alabama, because if we lose Alabama, we're talking a couple of seats. It's not like, hey, we're going to try this in a major state where we really need to pick up seats. So I think this was like they've called it, a test, but this shows long-term to both sides. I think this is where it becomes dangerous for Republicans, is this not working, because they've been fighting this since, 2023? So your plans are not working. So you lose some motivation there. But also now, when seeing the loss, you now embolden your competition. So if I'm a Democrat watching this happen, and to see that Clarence Thomas was the one who was like, this does not meet the legal challenge. This does not meet that threshold, I think is good news for Democrats. I think you'll see them start trying to phrase a lot of their redistricting arguments to this, but I think you'll also see Republicans try to do the same here. But I think Alabama shows that things aren't completely dead when we talk about voting rights. Are they crippled? Yeah. But there's still hope. There's still an opportunity to things to be resolved and things to change. So that's kind of my view of these two at this standpoint. Chuck, what you got?
Well, first, I'll start with Alabama. I think their issue there was more so because the federal courts just established maps in 2024.
Yeah.
These were mandated maps. These were not, and they had to mandate these maps because what you were doing. So now you think, and I will not necessarily rebut, but kind of give a counter to what you were saying as far as planning. I truly believe that the Republicans felt, oh, well, since the Supreme Court said X, Y, Z, then we can say screw this federal mandated map and redraw it how we want to.
Yeah.
And that panel was like, whoa, no. This was established.
That's a fantastic point, Chuck. I forgot that it was actually the feds who drew this map in Alabama. Yep.
Yes. And so they were like, whoa, this was done because y'all already was moving in a fashion to silence and minimalize and marginalize the voices of this population. So we're going to go back to our maps that we mandated in 2024, and then y'all can figure it out from there. And yes, I think they took a hit saying they were going to run back to the Supreme Court, and Clarence Thomas was like, hey, we already had that tomahawk dinner we had the night before. It's long gone now.
Yep. That's all right, I'm processed.
That steak has been digested and has gone its way.
Yeah, it's gone. So good luck and good riddance. Now for South Carolina, I do not necessarily disagree.
No, you can disagree.
No, if I'm going to disagree, I'm going to disagree.
That's one thing the chairman of chaos definitely gonna do now.
That ain't never been a problem for me. Ain't never been a problem for me. But it's not so much of a disagreement as in I'm not giving them as much credit as you did. I'll put it there. Because you said that and some of them may have went on a moral ground saying this is not right. But there was also some of them saying, oh, the timing of this is just not right. It wasn't even about a matter of we don't want to do this. This was
we don't want to do it today.
We don't want to do it today because guess what? Early voting is about to start. And the cost that it would hit us with, well, if I'm not mistaken, I saw somewhere in the tunes of almost $6 million. Or excuse me, $6 million to implement these changes at the last minute. And we see what's going on out there. And we see how tight pockets are.
Right.
You really want to be wasting $6 million in the heat of primaries and in the midterm period? Then you have some, and this is where I say it could be more. They're saying that it could violate common sense and confuse voters to stop an active, election and swap maps. That's borderline.
That's never stopped anyone before.
Exactly. But there's something that was very interesting to me that also happened that I think played a factor in this that is not talked about as widely by the political pundits. There were two individuals who came forward and said, if y'all change these maps and draw out this black voting district, we're gone. There was Dawn Staley and the starting quarterback for the South Carolina Gamecocks football team. Mm-hmm. And if it's one thing that them folks down there love,
there's some football and some basketball.
They love that women's team because they win the championships, and they love that South Carolina football.
Yep.
And the money-making machine that the football team is, number one. Number two, the women probably is number two on the list with the amount of winning that they've done over the past X amount of years. That put a pause to some people.
Oh, yeah.
And so...
And the way we see money flowing around with nil deals and whatnot and how these schools are fundraising.
Two things, man. You don't ever call it nil deal again.
I was just about to say, where in the world I had to think about it for a second. Like, nobody says Neil.
Really?
The hockey, man. No, the NIL.
NIL, man. Name, image, nil.
Nil is zero. Nil is zero.
Didn't Alpha tell you about taking shortcuts?
I mean, he did start at West.
Hey.
But to me, that also gives me pause on giving them credit from a morality standpoint.
Yeah.
And as we all know, follow the money.
Yeah.
In everything in politics, follow the money. So in this regard, as we take it back toward Trump, these are I'm not gonna say big hits. They're not big hits, but from the standpoint of South Carolina and Alabama weren't necessarily in play to flip anything. That's not what the thought process is. Nobody truly believes that Alabama or South Carolina is going to flip to the Dems and cause a disruption. However, it does put a pause or a slight little bump. I won't even call it a speed bump, but a slight little bump in the locomotive train of redistricting and trying to stack the odds in his favor for the midterm.
Well, Chuck, to continue on that, I think these were targeted because of their size and because no one expected it. Yeah, because I think one of the biggest things that they want to do around the callous interpretation is get some type of precedent on the books.
Yeah.
And that way, when I go to an Ohio and try to do this, if I try to do this in a Pennsylvania, like where I pick up 5, 6, 7, 8 seats, like there is a precedent on the board. Because you try to do this in one of those states right now, it's not going to fly.
But the only pushback I give in regards to the precedent being set is the mindsets are vastly different in Pennsylvania and Ohio.
Yeah.
And even from a judicial standpoint in the courts, many years ago I worked in the telecommunication space, and from a legislative standpoint, Pennsylvania and Ohio has some of the most restrictive telecommunication laws and guidelines in the country, to the point there had to be a completely separate division who handle Ohio and Pennsylvania because of the guidelines and laws that they have set forth. So, yes, I won't say precedent, I'll say framework.
Okay.
I'll say framework. But and it definitely, I agree with you, though, that they definitely use this as, let's take it to sports. This was their 707 camp. It wasn't the full mini camp. It wasn't full on practice. This was 7-on-7. We're gonna
get some reps.
Out. Yep, that's exactly what
get some reps.
Exactly.
Well, when you talk about morale, I think when you talk about South Carolina and what Brother Chuck has stated, to some, morale just stands for money over rights and liberty. So.
Message.
Message. Hard to argue that.
So, speaking of legal fights that aren't going according to plan, let's move from redistricting to one of the most controversial settlements that we've seen this year. Just a couple of weeks ago, the administration was celebrating what looked like a major win. Trump agreed to drop his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS over the release of his tax information. And in exchange, the Justice Department created what is called the Anti-Weaponization Fund, worth roughly $1.8 billion. The administration said that the fund would compensate people who believed that they had been unfairly targeted by the government. And I just want to pause right here at this moment and let everyone know, for the record, once again, that I, myself, my brother Manny, and the chairman of Chaos himself, we have all been unfairly targeted by the government. All of us.
I feel like every day my life is in the bullseye. Sometimes I feel like nobody's watching me.
And whoever's listening to this podcast, I feel that I have been targeted ever since Barack Hussein Obama
Hussein.
For the record, just in case you listen.
Let it be known. Let it be known that we've been talking about our oppression by the federal government.
Yep.
We have time for that presentation.
And if I got to throw Sleepy Joe in there too to get what the number that I want, Sleepy Joe
him
did too.
Him too.
And the way his wife would be looking at people kind of made me feel oppressed too. So
Yep. And somehow James Comey and Robert Mueller is a part of this too. I'll have that figured out better next episode.
And we can't forget how the schemes of the Clinton administration have also
it started back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. It started back in the 90s, if you want to be honest. Michael Dukakis was an individual in my early years that struck fear in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
We have a long history of governmental oppression.
Yes.
The pain I still deal with to this day.
The agony.
All my life, I had to fight.
Yo, you ever seen the movie Ray when he wake up when he in that facility trying to clean himself up and he got to rush to the bathroom? That's me on a nightly basis from the oppression that I've experienced by the government. So I am entitled to compensation.
And who is it that started your oppression again? For the record.
Oh, Barack Hussein. He just put the cherry on top for it, but it started way before then, brother. Way before then.
Yeah.
Somehow, brother. But needless to say, the entire arrangement of this anti-weaponization fund is facing some serious legal scrutiny. So we may not be entitled to compensation. So, but for the record, if we are, we are.
We definitely are.
And
We
if
definitely
not,
are.
and if not, I'm coming for you, mesothelioma.
Yep. So this past week, a federal judge temporarily blocked payouts from the fund while lawsuits are moving forward. At the same time, another judge reopened questions surrounding the settlement itself after dozens of formal judges alleged that the agreement may have improperly manipulated the court system. You don't say. The criticism is coming
This is news
from
to me.
multiple
This is
directions.
this is complete news to me. Like what?
What? Manipulation, court
No.
system, improper.
No,
Can't be.
not this administration.
So some Democrats have called it a taxpayer-funded slush fund, as we stated in our previous episode. But even some Republicans have raised concerns about the oversight, the ineligibility requirements, and who could ultimately receive money from the program. And the administration insisted that the fund is legal and necessary. The courts are saying, wait a minute, not so fast. So my question to you, Chuck, is this. Politically speaking, is the bigger problem here the legal uncertainty or the optics? Because when voters hear government creates a $1.8 billion fund tied to lawsuits involving the president, that headline itself, it doesn't particularly write itself as it should. So what is the bigger problem that you see here in this?
The bigger problem in this is the whole situation.
Right.
It's a mess.
And I say
The
that,
whole mess.
It's
whole
all.
mess.
Ooh.
But I say that because how are you suing for $10 billion and you're not worth $10 billion at the time of your lawsuit? Now, you may be worth $10 billion now with all the janky stuff you've been doing.
Can't be.
That's just semantics, though, Chuck. That's just semantics.
True.
If you shoot for the moon and land on the stars,
You're still in the sky.
still in the sky.
But I say that because overall, it's I think it's the headline of this fund is created to be used at the discretion of the AG and essentially the president, because he can dictate who's on this panel to decide how funds are distributed and who gets them. So obviously you have first right of refusal.
Mm-hmm.
And you influence the decision-making process of this. So where is the impartiality in this? And that's just on the fun end. What I love about this is, what I love about the courts stepping in is, as we just stated last episode, there's three bodies of the government: executive, legislative, and judicial. And the legislative end of it is sitting on their hands. So thankfully, the judicial end stepped up and gave pushback. I got to give credit to Kathleen Williams, who reopened the lawsuit, the $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS, basically stating that them creating a settlement agreement between his own administration and his private lawyers constituted a fraud on the courts. Meaning you playing in our face.
Well, literally, the deal is with the attorney general, who was your personal lawyer.
Yes. But furthermore, what I really love about this was there was a bipartisan group of 35 retired federal judges who accused the parties of collusion and manipulation. Not the woke left. This was 35 bipartisan retired federal judges.
People who've done the job.
Who've done the job and know what the heck they're talking about. So, and then you have, and that was in Florida. Then you have another federal judge in Virginia who was like, nope, You're not giving out none of this money until we get this stuff straightened out. So while the legislative end is the cowards of Congress, at least we have some federal judges who are like, nah, y'all not about to play these reindeer games in our face. And as we said last week, tell the American people to pull your pants down so you can pee on them. Tell them it's raining. No, we're gonna come back, and you have to come back by June 12th, and you have to provide responses into this, because you can't go and make a deal on your own and just drop it. The number one thing that I really enjoyed is them asking, so was this a frivolous lawsuit? If you were just to drop it so willy-nilly, and you were so concerned about your privacy being violated
by your administration.
That was an excellent point that you brought up last week, brother. But if you feel such a way that you filed a $10 million lawsuit, and then all of a sudden, nah, we're going to drop it. And you, as I told y'all last week, the most damning aspect of this deal is him and his family being able to avoid being audited in perpetuity, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that is the most damning aspect of this. And for them to be able to get away with that, nah. So I'm glad somebody has stepped up. And we don't know the end result, but I'm glad there's pushback.
Well, I want to say this before you go, Manny, because I want to throw a follow up in there that you can couple with your response. So, if this ultimately gets struck down, does it become another example of the administration announcing something before the legal groundwork was fully secured? Because, to Chuck's response, they rolled this out as if the legal framework was secure and that it was sound. And clearly we're seeing that there are federal judges, a number of federal judges saying, nah, bro, that ain't it. That ain't how that works. So in your response, can you also with that follow up with, is that something of another example of them announcing something, which we've seen this administration do? They roll something out and then legally it's challenged and it's not secure, it's not sound at all from a law perspective. And then, they're having another example yet again of a fail.
Well, geez, first thing I'm going to need you to do is hit my theme music.
Yes,
I don't think they care. I don't think they care about this fund, because this fund right now, I believe, is serving its purpose. Because right now, while we are all focusing on this $1.776 billion fund, we're not paying as deep attention to the IRS deal and the scrutiny around that. Because if I understand it correctly, because the memo that gave them immunity is a completely separate document, it's going to require its own legal challenges. But while we're over here talking about this fund, that's just proceeding like it needs to. And that's the problem. I think that is why Trump dropped the lawsuit, because you got what you wanted. Trump don't care about nobody.
That's facts.
Trump don't care about. Yeah, he don't care. But it's something to rally support around him. It's something to rile up his base. You're going to need these people to come out. How great is it going to look for a bunch of these people who are going into areas that are going to be really, really tough primaries to be like, we tried to get you guys reimbursed. We tried to take care of our people, and the courts shut us down. And that's why y'all need to come out. There's going to be PACs that are sending mailers on top of mailers on top of mailers with that message when this fails. Because I think it is very unlikely at this point that the fund is going to survive. But what will survive is the fact that Trump and his family are going to be able to ignore the IRS and do as they please like that. So I think it's a red herring at this point.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that aspect survives either, because I know
Okay.
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
I just the legal, like I said, and I think I agree with you 1,000%. He doesn't care about anybody, and the fund was the shield to that the
Yeah.
aspect of the audit at end of it. Like you said, they can have that money. I don't care nothing about that. But he knows all of the bogus deals. I think the report came out today that there was a company in North Carolina that's a 2-year-old company that the White House stepped in to help them get a $620 million loan from the Pentagon, and his son is on the board. You know, there's multiple stories of him buying stock a week, 2 weeks before saying something about the company. Then the price runs up, and he's
Yep.
a ton of money. So I agree that that's the red herring. I don't know how it survives.
I think it is a 50-50 shot because I think what we'll need to understand about this fund and how it fails, how it ends up failing. Does it fail under a congressional authorization standpoint? Because if it fails under that, I think it is more likely that the IRS deal fails. But if it fails under the whole collusion, that, hey, Trump, you are making a deal with your own organization, of which the person leading that was your own personal lawyer. If the fund fails based on the collusion in that standpoint, then I think the IRS piece of this also falls down.
But in that, you can still tie collusion into that because you wrote that end of the deal into your negotiations with the AG and the DOJ. Like you brought that in. So I agree it's 50-50.
Yeah.
And for me, that end of the deal is not talked about enough. The 1 point, I'm rounding up, forget this. The 1.8 1.8 is nasty work, but as I stated before, that's not the nastiest of the work to me. Now, the one thing that they have to be careful about, and I'm not going to say it too much because we gave out enough free game on here, but they have to be careful in regards to the mailers if this does get shot down and saying we try to support our people, because there is a segment of that group that's divided about this situation. And it's not even so much the funds, it's those individuals, because there are some that are true blue and truly back the blue. And they still hold on to what happened to the Capitol Police. And so you're going to walk a fine line. And in that fine line, you may alienate a section of your group that you need by trying to push this effort. Trump can walk on water for them. But what you can't do is try to rope somebody else in to put them on a pedestal along with Trump. Trump is on that pedestal all on his own to some of those people. You can't couple anybody else with them.
Agreed.
To me, it seems like doing this, to the point you just made, Chuck, creates a whole nother problem for you that you didn't have to create.
Facts.
Because whether you didn't give them any money or not, you still was gonna have the support regardless.
Yes.
Yep.
You don't need to buy your supporters. They're there. The ones that went to jail and did all this stuff, they did it just off the strength of your words and feeling in some weird way that you saw them and acknowledged them and cared. Bro, you just keep doing that same recipe and you haven't divided. But if you go out with that messaging, you've basically shot yourself in the pinky toe.
Now, I don't
Not
think,
my pinky toe. Not my pinky toe.
but I don't even think it's so much Trump, because Trump ain't thinking about them in that fashion. But to Manny's point, those PACs and those different groups who go around campaigning, and sometimes, as I said, this message was approved by Donald J. Trump. This message was approved by this quack whack PAC. And Donald J. Trump ain't had nothing to do with it. You think you're trying to do him a solid, and you mess it up.
or they done found somebody, changed their name to Donald Jason Trump, and that's who signed off on it.
I mean, well, he talked about Biden with those auto pens. Does Trump have a auto endorsement?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I mean,
Almost
we already know he doesn't have the auto pen. He has the GP Trump. That's what I'm gonna call it. We see how he be dropping them truths.
Well, and here's the other situation. I think when I look at this, that is getting ready to be problematic. Todd Blanche is about to find himself in a hell of a situation.
We got your pickle,
bro. Because the way his situation is starting to play out with Pam Bondi coming out and speaking to Congress, talking about the Epstein files, saying that, oh, I deferred most of that to my assistant agent, my deputy, Todd Blanche, to deal with that. So if they get you for collusion here, they definitely about to get you for collusion over here. So you about to find yourself.
Go ahead and dig that pit, light that fire, and rotate.
Go ahead and put in that call to Rudy Giuliani, the former. Well, no, I'm saying as how do I deal as a former personal attorney from Donald Trump, and how do I survive after this? Because he's going to find himself in the same situation.
And my no still stands, because why you calling him? He can't tell you how to survive. He ain't surviving.
He ain't survived.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
And I think that the record show that no one truly survives.
Well, look, they can start a little support group. Meet every Thursday.
That support group is nuts. It's a whole lot of hurt. It's a whole lot of hurt in that support group.
I let that hurt go,
Bruh. Well, we'll leave the courtroom for now and head over to something that I believe is becoming one of the biggest cultural battlegrounds in Washington, and that is, depending on who you ask, the Kennedy Center, or the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Center. Which, if you've seen the sign outside that building, it looks terrible.
Well, we got space at the top. Just add it up at the top.
That is the equivalent to that work where you doing this in elementary school. Your teacher like, you forgot a word and you draw and you just write it in a little bit above.
Bruh, you gotta scrunch it up and
little carrot.
It ain't the spacing ain't even. It's just we say made it a little carrot.
Oh man,
that's exactly what that sign looks like. But the Kennedy Center has become one of Trump's most visible attempts to reshape a major American cultural institution. So after installing allies on the board and pursuing significant changes, Trump supporters viewed it as an opportunity to put a conservative imprint on one of the nation's most prominent art venues. So instead of that happening, a federal judge, here we go again, delivered a major setback. The court ruled that Trump's name could not legally be added to the Kennedy Center and blocked plans for a lengthy closure and renovation effort. The judge's reasonings were very straightforward. Congress created the Kennedy Center, and Congress would have to authorize a name change.
Let me summarize that. His mama called it the Kennedy Center, so we're going to keep calling it the Kennedy Center.
Right, so which makes the judge is, I mean, that's straightforward, right? They created it. They need to be the ones to authorize the change.
Very simple.
Very simple. But Trump, as you know, them Twitter fingers got to going, and he responded angrily, criticizing the judge and signaling frustration over the ruling. I think he pulled back by saying this was a Clinton judge, if I'm not mistaken. He always got to tie it to somebody,
It's always somebody else.
Well, the Clinton administration, like we said before, has been oppressive.
Bruh, they have. So Trump, we felt the same frustration as well, brother. You know what's funny to me? How Trump get frustrated and drop names of people that he admire. Because regardless of how much he hate, as much as he claim he hate Obama, he hates him because he wants to be like Obama so bad. Because every time that he get in Obama presence, he took that tail real quick and get the high. Start showing teeth,
showing all the teeth in them. Mm-hmm.
Listen, he get around Bill. He get a little happy. He don't fool with Hillary though, because Hillary be calling him out.
He don't like Hillary.
She call him out too much.
Hey, you know what it's like? his relationship with Hillary and Bill is the homie who you can't stand his wife or his girlfriend. He don't like you, and every time y'all see each other, it's smoke.
Yep.
So you try to avoid her as much as possible, but that's still my boy.
Yeah. Which I want to say to Chuck's example though. For us at Pardon the Politics, that is not the case for none of us and our wives.
Thankfully.
Now it had
I
it.
wanna clear that up.
There was an X in the situation.
Although myself and Manny's wife used to have, I ain't gonna say beef, but we had a little bit of points of contention back in the day.
But you and my wife, my ex and Jeezy.
Oh,
major point of
Nah, they had beef.
No. We definitely, me and your ex definitely had beef, and I didn't even bring the charcoal.
You didn't do nothing
at all. I didn't even start the grill. I don't know how we got beef, but apparently we had beef. But to that, the ones that need to make the cut made the cut. So that's all that matters.
Indeed.
So when you look at this, that kind of was low key throwing shade on the beef, right? I pulled a Jay-Z. I pulled a Jay-Z Afro style. But the larger issue here is that the Kennedy Center has already become a magnet for controversy. There has been numerous artists and performers that have distanced themselves from the institution since the changes have begun, creating a constant stream of headlines. So, which is crazy because at one point, my 5-year-old was showing me some video she found on YouTube of some kid book that she loves, and this event was at the Kennedy Center. And I remember watching it, and I'm just like, wow, it's crazy to see, this. It was a beautiful show that they were doing, but it also reminded me of, since Trump has decided to go after the Kennedy Center, how events like this and major artists and things that were done at this institution have backed away and no longer want anything to do with it because of what Trump is trying to do.
Well, a good portion of that, though, is because he named himself chairman.
Yep.
Of the senator, and they were like, "Nah, bro."
He walked in and said, "I the captain now."
Yeah.
And they said, "Cool. Well, we'll get the life raft and we'll get off and head the shore."
Have fun.
This ain't Titanic. We know how to use these emergency boats.
Before you hit that iceberg, we gone.
We gone.
So, Manny, I'll ask you this: with the Kennedy Center, is this a fight worth having politically? Because Trump's base loves these culture war battles, right? This ain't the first time we've seen, maybe against an institution, but this culture war battle is not the first time we've seen this. But do independent voters really care about who controls the Kennedy Center?
No. No, and I hate to say it, but no, this is all symbolic. You know what I do care about? Why my gas is expensive. You know what I care about? People not being able to access adequate health care. You know what I care about? Why a pound of bacon is approaching in excess of $10.
You might as well buy a hog at this point.
But.
Can I finance a hog?
Why is a single hash brown from McDonald's almost $4.50 on DoorDash?
Hey, bro. Hold on, man. Hold on.
Get him, G's.
First of all, you messed up with that DoorDash part. That's one. Why are you DoorDashing McDonald's hash browns is wild. Because I gotta imagine. First of all, McDonald's hash browns, you gotta eat those before you get out of the parking lot.
Gotta be hot and fresh.
You eating them cold patty potatoes brought to your doorstep on a 35 to 40-minute wait is wild. But I will join you in my rant, because after my daughter's recital this past weekend, she wanted ice cream. And we had some things we had to do. So I'm like, look, we can't go to the ice cream shop right now. But if you know my 5-year-old, she has the negotiating power of the top tier lawyer. So
yes,
Iran.
I need she'll get the job done for you now. So of course the walk from the recital hall all the way to the car, she would not let up. So next thing I know, I'm like, look, where we gotta go, we're passing the McDonald's. I can get you a sundae. Can we just do that? She said no. That ain't what I want.
Yeah, I know that's right. Go for what you want, baby.
So she said, because they're not gonna have different color ice cream. It's gonna be
But
white. And that's not what I want.
I was about to say, did it have sprinkles?
That ain't what I want.
You said they got different color ice cream. I love
But
it.
lucky for me, she got that negotiating power from somewhere. So I seen the challenge and I said, look, I guess there's no ice cream then. She thought about it. She said,
Okay.
do they have anything I can put on the white ice cream? I said, yes.
Jeezy said we are
Jeezy
said we are closing the Strait of Hormuz.
Bruh.
we ain't having it.
So she finally, after now I want you to know this was a span about 25, 30 minutes. She finally said, okay, which is wild to be negotiating with a 5-year-old for that long. But that's how I know time to change. 'Cause when we was a proper people,
Boy. I said so.
when I said first of all, when I said no, I meant no.
Listen.
And if I got to repeat myself, we got a problem.
Listen.
And when I say we got ice cream at the house, we got ice cream at the house. Might not be the ice cream you want, but it's the ice cream you gonna get.
It may
at all.
And it may not actually be ice cream. It may be cubes of ice and cream. We have both of these things
now,
at the
brother.
house.
Come on, brother.
I'm gonna show you how to make ice cream.
Right.
So, bro,
It don't look the same.
but I bet it tastes the same.
Might taste better.
Yeah.
We get in the line, and I go and I say, "Hey, look, I just want a hot fudge sundae." The man said, "Okay, sir, that'll be $3.49." I said, "Bro, wait a minute,
Bro, what?
Yes.
for a hot fudge sundae." Bro, I remember when this was like under $1. I was expecting $1.19 at this point.
Yes.
$3.49.
Sound like my candy grant.
Bro, I was hot, and I looked at it, and it
was smaller.
It's smaller than
what it
you
used to be.
remember when it was $1.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
ain't even the right consistency of a hot fudge sundae. No fudge at the bottom, just all on the top. I say, yeah. So when you make that point, Manny, it made me think about a follow-up to that question. When you think about this situation, every day spent talking about this art institution, if people don't care, is this a day not spent talking about the things that matter, like inflation, like the economy, like the things that actually matter?
Like the Epstein files?
Didn't know who you asked.
Don't get me started. I'll jump in and answer that real quick here.
Yes, sir.
In the notion that for me, it's a twofold situation. Number one, I am glad that somebody gave pushback again, just like with this lawsuit. I am glad there was an arm of government that provided a check to give some balance.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, do I need this to dominate the news cycle? No. Do I need this to be talked about on the press floor or in Air Force One when the press has a moment to question him? No. Well, actually, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. On second thought, it doesn't matter because he's gonna answer any kind of which way.
Any kind of way.
But again, for me, I just need the cowards of Congress to step up because when this happened in the first place,
Bruh, bingo.
y'all could have been put this to bed.
Message.
Been put this to bed.
Along with a number of things, brother.
A slew.
Because a lot of what Trump is doing needs congressional approval, but y'all keep sitting on your hands and keeping your lips tight and shut instead of doing something.
Yep. Message.
Bruh.
And so in that ruling, there were two other findings. They blocked the closure. And for clarity for our listeners, there's already been, I want to say it's 250 million, 260 million that Congress had already approved for a renovation. what the findings said is that doesn't stop it. It's still being renovated. You're just not going to completely close it. Like, that's wild. And then the other one is they restored the rights, the voting rights of Representative Joyce Beatty from Ohio, ex officio trustee that they stripped away her rights with the new board. And she sued in federal court. Where I also find interesting about this is this all came out on May 29th. And do y'all know what May 29th is? It is JFK's birthday.
Hey.
So the court's also saying, hey, Trump, you want to be symbolic with your stuff? We can be symbolic with our stuff, too.
I love when people are petty and symbolic at the same time.
Yep.
It's a well-balanced sandwich.
I'm pretty and petty as no.
But I think largely with this, I think this will fade away. I would be shocked if there's a large fight over this because Trump's moved on to, he's got two other beautification projects that he's got to worry. He's got to get that reflecting pool finished, painted blue, and he's got the arch. The arch that he has to take care of.
All that looks terrible, bro. Like, that's the thing I think bothers me so much about Trump and all this stuff. This stuff looks terrible. It's just like when he in the White House, all the things that he did. He said, yeah, all this gold, and they pulled up that it all came from Home Depot. They just spray painted it gold. Like, bro, it don't look. It looks like your rich grandfather's attic that once he died, and we went to go clean it out, and we found all these like heirlooms and stuff.
I had somebody describe it perfectly. So we were at a bar. Longer story about how I ended up at this bar. We'll save that for post pod. But we were at the Trump Hotel in DC, and somebody said, if this doesn't look like someone took French architecture, chewed it up, swallowed it, and threw it up, I don't know what this is. And that perfectly defines everything that Trump is doing. Bad French architecture.
Yeah, to me, a lot of what he does feels like that rich person that's not as rich as everybody else, but makes them want to make themselves look as rich as everybody else.
Are you saying this is his Gucci belt?
Bruh.
Touche.
Yeah.
This is Gucci belt.
All of it to me just look like if you were around it long enough, you start sneezing. That's so.
Start itching, feel like stuff crawling on you.
Yeah. I got to get out of this room. But you look at all this stuff that he's doing, and I think that he loves to gloat about how he just does real estate. He designs beautiful things, yada yada yada. Well, I think one thing that he can't necessarily design is a nice concert series, and that's the next part of his weekly thing that has gone terrible. He can't put an event together. He can't
another one.
You can't be the hostess with the mostest. I don't understand. That's easy. You the president of the United States, and you can't host at the most.
That's because he wasn't throwing the parties back in the day. He was just attending.
See?
Well, we know who was throwing those parties on the island.
Hey, bro. Glad he ain't the host. We don't know. We don't know what DC would look like on 250.
Bro, absolutely.
But Freedom 250 has been turned into a headache for Donnie T. He trying to get America's birthday together, but he just seemed to be having trouble planning this birthday party.
You're not the birthday.
Look, it ain't about you, man. I think that's the problem.
That
Ain't
is the
nobody
problem.
come to see you.
That is the problem. He think this is supposed to be his party.
Yeah.
He want to have it high.
Oh, bro, I just had a revelation of what this resembles, and I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but it's the truth. This is the equivalent of the single moms that go over and beyond for their kids' prom with all the glitz and glamour. Really, because vicariously, that's the only time they'll get to experience a wedding day vibe.
Nah, brother, I thought you was going in another direction.
No, that's the only
Not the
time.
wedding day vibe.
All of them look like weddings.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So Trump just trying to make something that he feels should be about him, when it ain't got nothing to do with him at all. And that's why it's falling flat. It's been a public relations disaster. over half of the announced performers have dropped out. So you got Martina McBride, Brett Michaels, the Commodores, Young MC, I believe Milli Vanilli.
Nah.
That was the most. That was the most. Huh? For me. And it was like the real voices of it.
Right.
You know, but if it ain't the light skin, and if I'm not mistaken, one of the actors, I'm about to call that man an actor.
You know, you're right. You're right.
One of, one of the guys passed away, if I'm not mistaken. Who was the
Yeah,
first
because there was only
iteration.
one. So you only getting, are we getting Millie or are we getting Vanilli? Because we ain't getting both.
What?
Well,
Chuck, you mean?
it depends on which one passed, because one was brown skin, one was light skin. So I would think the Millie is the dark, Vanilli is the light.
Well, Chuck, when you
Y'all
think
could have
of
left that man
America,
at whatever Walmart green station y'all found him at and let him live in peace. Don't drag him out, because now you drag him out. We got to rehash his embarrassment.
Yeah.
you mean when you think about America, Chuck, you don't think about Milli Vanilli?
No.
Okay, yeah, I didn't either.
I had thought about Milli Vanilli since the documentary came out.
None of these people make me think America at all. Period. I don't even like they withdrew and distanced themselves after learning more about the event's connection to Trump and the Freedom 250 organization. Y'all didn't know that when they sent over asking y'all, did y'all want to participate?
Well, I did see that the promoters or the organizers didn't present it as if this was connected to Trump. It was more so a U.S. celebration. So I could see them jumping on board. Okay, 4th of July, Independence celebration, 250th, anniversary of the country. But now all of a sudden, like anything else, like that report that this fool wants to make a $250 bill
with his face on it,
his signature on it. Which, if I'm not mistaken, Congress has to approve that.
Well, according to the secretary, that there is legislation being brought forth to Congress, because you can't be on a bill and be alive. That's one thing.
Well, not just that, they have to approve that, because that was the whole humbug when Joe Biden tried to get Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill, and the Republicans, it was moving forward, and then the Republicans took over and killed it. So how you just gonna come out and say, "Oh, we're working with the Treasury Department to create a $250 bill"? Well, first off, didn't we just tell y'all that too much money is in circulation as it is?
As is, and you
I don't care about that.
Man, somebody, you give me, bro. First of all,
if you give me, I can tell
if you.
I love this because, as I've stated before, I worked in the banking industry, and I used to go around purchasing things with $2 bills. And so, being in that space, I had access to plenty of them. So I would get some. And I remember one time going into the gas station, and then young lady told me the total, and I whipped out my $2 bills, paid her, and she looked at it. And she wiped it with the pen and looked at it again. Then she turned around and called her manager over, who was an older gentleman, who was like, "Yeah, they're fine. They're real." She was like, "I've never seen them before." And I just laughed, and I looked at the manager. I was like, "I work in the bank." He was like, "Okay, that makes sense." But
man,
my most interesting, and I'm gonna stop talking about this. My most interesting situation with $2 bills was at my favorite location to take money, and y'all know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I am passing the buck, and the DJ goes, "Hold up, are those $2 bills?" All the girls came. Never mind. All right. Pass it to my brother Jeezy or Manny or somebody.
Bro, so when you look at this, first of all, if you hand me I don't want a 250 bill, because I'm not about to explain why I got a 250 bill. That's just gonna piss me off.
Hey, imagine back in the day when the folks used to get their check and go to the bank and cash it to get their money. I wish I would see somebody give my grandfather an old head, a $250 bill. I don't want this. Break this down.
In newsflash, Donald Trump and Mr. Secretary, the way the economy's going, ain't a lot of people gonna have them bills anyway.
People don't carry cash much.
Bingo.
And most places don't take more than $50 bills.
I guess it's just something to have.
You struggle.
Plies would say color money.
I wonder what color it would be. You got
to probably be this
little hint of orange.
First of all, this is going to be the most colorized bill showing the I just want to know if they're going to have the tone change from around Trump's eyes to the rest of his face, like that.
See, okay, we're on.
Money gonna give. Yep.
This is the conversation that we need to have. It's not about the 250. What is this money gonna look like? Because part of the Treasury and their whole thing is the color sequencing, texture of the money for security purposes. We have the blue for 100. We have kind of reddish for 50s. The green is for 20s. You have yellow for 10s. 5s are kind of reddish, whitish, bluish, kind of. And then they just discard the ones. Poor George. But so thinking about the rainbow, it's going to be either purple or orange. I mean, if I roll
those are the options.
Yeah. Or he might just try to say, make it gold. We get the Willy Wonka golden ticket.
You know what? You're right about that.
But think about it. When's the last time that you paid for something in cash that was in excess of $100? Like, I just don't. If I'm spending more than $100, I'm using my card. Like,
bruh.
Generally, but I'm a bit. Still got some of that old school with me. I love having cash on me. I love it. Like most people are like, no, I want to have that cash on me. Yeah. And I'm not talking 5, 10, 20, 30.
Yeah.
I want to have some cash on me.
See.
One is it's a twofold. Run up on me if you want to. Anyway, I'm sorry. I working in that space and working for so long. The nature of which I track my funds when using my cards. I know what's in my account essentially at just about at all times. But just the hand-to-hand transaction, it just does something for me. And like I said, I've 10 plus years. Right. Actually, I probably got 20 plus years in cash handling, but 10 plus years in the banking industry specifically. So, and then growing up, my grandparents had a store, and I would go on bank runs with my grandfather or help him count. Because one of his things that he always told me was, you can't tell me you love money and hate math. It don't make sense. Message. And so, me, my siblings, and my cousins would sit up and help him roll coins. And I had
a lost art, bro. A lost art.
Proper people win.
Man,
I had my kids rolling, taught them years ago how to roll coins. So for me, the handling of money has always been an integral part of my life. And so I there are times where I miss it. And to your point, Manny, a lot of times when I'm doing big purchases, I'll say 95% of my big purchases are done with my card. But there are times I'm like, dang, I wish I just had some cash just to,
But it's for me, it's the utility of a $250 bill.
It ain't nothing. You got some places you go where they say, look, we don't break anything, over 100. You hand a 250, they're gonna be like, yo, I'll be right back. Next thing you know, the law coming up in there.
Have a seat.
I personally don't carry cash, and we'll move on, but I personally don't carry cash because I like the feeling of when I am coming out of the gas station, somebody say, hey, brother, can I get $1? I can say no, and I realize, and I can live comfortably knowing I didn't lie to you. I ain't lie to you. I really don't have $1 in my pocket. I say it with so much confidence, bro. I be purposely. Oh, I know he gonna ask. Let me make sure there ain't nobody coming out of the gas station right now. So I'm the only one between me and that door that he gonna ask. Hey, brother, you got a man? I don't care. No cash, bro. And I ain't lying to you.
Hey,
I can pray for you.
It might hit silver and gold. I have none,
Bro.
but with these jokers around here in Atlanta, hit you with the Okie. Hold on, I'm tripping. I'm in North Carolina. I said around here, but anyway,
Right.
I had a guy tell me, "Well, let me hold that debit card, big bro."
Bro, that's
Yeah,
wild.
now you tweet.
That's wild.
Came out of the gas station.
I'd rather you say to give me the cash app.
Bro.
They've done that too, but he was like, "Hey man, you got a couple dollars?" I was like, "I ain't got no cash on me, bro." He was like, "Man, well let me hold that debit card." What?
Hey, look.
Oh my gas.
The answer to the unasked question is no. But in the words of oh God, the basketball have you practiced that shot before? Has that worked for you?
Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing. Have you practiced that shot? Right.
Y'all be having some wild requests, bro. Wild requests.
Yeah.
But I that's the only reason I don't care. For one, because I'm from Rocky Mount. So you got cash at Rocky Mount. 9 times out of 10, you didn't have it taken at least once.
Hey, bro, I'm from Fayetteville. Hey.
Oh, you already know.
Yeah.
Right. So I learned that very early.
That's what I said. Run up on me. Run up.
Look,
That little
I learned at a young
FAO.
age that I don't want them problems. I ain't even got to lie. And 2, if you ask me, I hadn't committed a sin by lying today. At least not in this scenario. I told the truth. I look up every time when I get in the car, Father, I didn't lie.
But circling back to the concert, I already knew something. Like when people started canceling, I looked at that list and I'm like, oh, so this is about to be Brent Michaels and somebody else. So when Brent Michaels came out and said, yo, this is not what I thought it was, I was like, oh, they got y'all. They got y'all. Because I would have bet money that he was going to be still doing this concert.
I agree. When I saw he backed out of the program, I was like, somebody told a lie one day.
Yep.
Bruh. And look, and you know Trump responded quick by blasting these performers for cutting out. He called them third-rate artists, which
Didn't
he
you?
ain't lying. I mean, he won't lie.
But you know who's still in there, right?
Who, Kid
Should've
Rock?
got them apple bottom jeans.
Oh, bro. Flo Rida ain't gonna miss a check now. He ain't gonna miss a check. So but this is the funny thing in Trump fashion, which a lot of them, to Chuck's point, they said that they thought they were signing up for a nonpartisan celebration. So when Trump heard this, of course, in good fashion, he has the insult. And then he said that he has floated the idea of replacing much of the concert with a large rally where he would effectively become the headline attraction himself. I don't know if he think this is Coachella,
He said,
Rolling Loud.
he looked at that list of people and said,
yo.
ain't no one coming to DC to see you, Otis.
Bruh,
This
who
fool
big
said
of an
this-
artist to have than me?
Than
He
me.
said this is DJ T Fest. That's what
Bruh,
this is.
he was pulling a DJ Shaq.
But I can also understand how, not DJ Shaq. Shout out to Sup Dogs.
Shout out to some dogs for sure.
But I can see how some of these artists and their management were thrown for a loop, because not only do you have the Freedom 250, you have America 250, which is the congressional group and organization that is started, I believe, 10 years ago to put on things and events across the nation for America's 250th birthday.
Yeah.
So I can see how they got very easily misled. But this is where I think Trump could find himself in a situation again with the courts, is because there's some rumors going around. Congress appropriated $150 million via the Office of Budget to be routed through the Interior Department for this. And now there's some questions about how much money has been diverted over, because I believe about 10 million, maybe, give or take. and what's private money, where private and public money is going to fund these various things. So Trump could find himself in a whole nother situation.
Or if he's a headliner, does he get a portion of money?
What's his honorarium? I filled the seats.
Yep.
He always gonna try to find a way to the bag, legally or
illegally.
Illegally. But I want to ask a question to close us out on this, and I'll go to you, Chuck, on this. You know, because if your goal is to, you know, have a broad national celebration, is it really possible in the position that we are in now? Is it even possible at this point, you know, that the political branding itself is driving away the exact audience that you're trying to attract, right? This is supposed to be a moment we all should be able to come together. You know, it makes me think about like when we watch the World Cup, you know, which that's about to go down the drain. But, you know, it's like the World Cup. It doesn't matter what you agree with, what side of the aisle you're on. When America, especially I think about the women's team, they've had clearly much more success than the men have. But even if you don't care for what's going on in the U.S., when them girls are on that big stage, it don't matter where you are at. You're excited because it's America. We rally around that.
USA.
You know, what was the chant they had one year? It was the them of the men that I believe that we can win.
I believe that we can win.
Right, everywhere you're going.
We can win.
But it was the U.S. But at this point in the landscape that we're in, is it even possible to even do that or to have that anymore?
What was the first part of your question? That's the answer.
Is it possible at this point that the political brand itself is driving away the exact audience it's trying to attract?
That's the answer.
Yes.
The political brand is known for alienation, is known for separation, is known for isolation.
Yeah.
So to try to present an event, a celebration, and bring everyone together is contradictory.
Yeah.
Essentially.
You can't be the director of division and get mad when you can't bring nobody together.
You can't tell the ushers what to do.
Whoa, I won't say you can. More like you shouldn't. You shouldn't be upset because clearly he is upset.
Clearly he is. Clearly he's upset.
Is he upset or is he throwing a tantrum?
It's more like a tantrum.
Tantrum.
It's a tantrum.
It's a tantrum.
Because babies don't really get upset about much. They just get upset. They don't get.
I ain't get my way. I'm gonna make a fuss.
But the decision was right. You don't need what you need right now. You can throw a tantrum, but I'm still right. The adult in the room is still right. Trump
that's
just
the problem. Where are the adults?
Problem. Yep.
I know you're tired, but you're gonna take this nap.
And you gonna take that nap, and you gonna feel later on that yeah, you're right. I should have took that nap, even if you don't say it. You know I was right. You should have took that nap. But yeah, man. You know when you look at this week, as we take a step back, Trump took some hits in 4 completely different arenas. The redistricting stalled. The IRS settlement is facing legal scrutiny. The Kennedy Center plans got blocked for now, and Freedom 250 is struggling to keep performing. So none of these individually are presidency-ending problems, but together they tell a story that even when you control the White House, you're still fighting courts, legislators, public opinions, and sometimes your own allies. And as we said this past week, all 4 pushed back. So Trump, you had a tough week, bro. Maybe the week will get better for you. Could get worse. Only time will tell. Brothers, anything else on this segment of this past week for Mr. Donald Trump? And I think hold on, Manny, don't we have
No, we don't. We don't. Not confirmed. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're at this point. Anything else on this segment before we move on, brothers?
No,
all
man.
hearts and minds clear?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right. Well,
run down of his L's.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Bad luck. Bad luck, Trump. Bad luck. Sorry, I'm not going to wish him good luck.
Look,
bad luck.
If you take this amount of L's in a week, your next week got to be better, right?
You would hope so.
I mean,
I would tell him to say your prayers tonight, Trump. But
unless that deal falls apart.
I mean, they
sent
back a response to this deal. So that's the only reason it's not been brought up to this point. Is we'll see what this Iran deal looks like this week, maybe. But gas prices are going down, kind of, sort of. So
I don't miss me with that.
I seen somebody on Facebook recently. They just said, "Hey, I see the price going down. Is the war over?" I said, okay. I see what type of person you are. Uninformed.
One that we like to call aloof. Yeah, miss me with that gas prices going down. Nope.
Yeah, what George would say, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame. Can't get food again.
Can't get food again.
I know they got it said in Texas. It's probably in Tennessee too, right?
That is going to go down as a top 10 political quote. Okay, top 5 political
top
quote.
It might be top 2, not number 2.
Hey, George Bush got quite a few, because there was one where he was on a golf course and he was saying something about some of these countries. He was like, they cannot possess a nuclear weapon, and then he paused.
It was.
He said,
I think it was either Iraq or Iran.
Yeah,
it was.
He paused when he said it and looked at the report. He said, "Now watch me hit this shot," and turned around and pinged the heck out that golf ball. I said, "Bro, George Bush different, bro." George Bush walked so Trump could run, bro. And Trump messing it up because now he fumbling, because Trump on his first term he was hitting with the quotables and the funny stuff.
But well, I mean, when your brain is turning into mush and deteriorating, it's kind of
you just can't keep it together no more, bro.
You're running back to back.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we have moved on to our segment that we come to you constantly every week with someone being in the Partner Politics pickle jar, and that is where we give you our pickle of the week.
When I get us all into the biggest pickle any of us had ever seen.
Now, there's an individual that is in the brine that I believe he's been in there before. Pause. That feels like a pause-worthy thing to say. Mm-hmm. But this individual is Graham Platner. So Graham is a pickle for the week because, first of all, I want to let you know, those in Maine and surrounding, that the primary is coming up, I believe, June 9th. And he is the Democratic Senate candidate in Maine. Here's why he's a pickle of the week. Democrats have been, for years, eyeing Maine as one of the best opportunities to defeat the incumbent Senator Susan Collins and potentially pick up a critical Senate seat. But instead of talking about health care, inflation, or campaign strategy, Platner is once again answering questions about his political conduct. So this week, news reports revealed that Platner's wife had informed a campaign official last year that she discovered a sexually explicit text message he had sent to other women during their marriage. Now, first of all, ma'am, why are you talking to a complete stranger? That's your problem. She was hurt, and you ain't got no friends?
None.
You ain't got nobody you can trust with that? You into a campaign official?
You poured it all into him.
Bruh. So the campaign staff, apparently and this is how you know you're moving nasty. She came to the campaign official, and the campaign staff apparently already knew about this issue during the internal vetting process and officially decided that it was a private matter. Democrats fumbling again. As soon as you got that, you should have said, "Yeah, no, we want somebody else." So,
nope.
So now let's be clear. His wife has publicly defended him. She says I'm sticking by my man.
My man.
She said they went through counseling, they worked through their problems, and remain committed to their marriage. Which kudos to them. Y'all keeping the house together. I ain't
Marriage
gonna never knock
work.
nobody for that. It's hard work. It's a job that don't end until you end. So, but politically, that's not besides the point. Because it isn't happening in isolation. Platner has already spent months dealing with controversy surrounding offensive old online posts and scrutiny over a tattoo linked to some Nazi imagery that he said he didn't understand when he got it. which okay. But
Hey, listen,
last I checked, if you get tattoos, my mama was opposed to tattoos, but she said, hey, if you're getting something, you better know what you're getting
know.
and understand it before you get it.
now, in his defense, we got a bunch of people running around here with Chinese lettering and symbols on
Oh,
them.
for sure.
Don't
For
know
sure.
What?
I've never understood why people do that. You don't know what
don't know what you don't put on yourself.
you don't put on yourself. Here's why you need to know. Be informed. But the Bible also tells us that people perish from what? The lack of what?
Lack of knowledge.
Thank you, brothers. So now Democrats find themselves in a very brutal position here. This race was supposed to be about defeating Susan Collins, but instead every week it seems that they're bringing about another story trying to explain who Graham Plaitner is. And to me, that's why he's in a pickle. Not because of one controversy can necessarily end a campaign, but because campaigns only survive one scandal. They struggle when voters start seeing a pattern. And the challenge for Plaitner isn't convincing voters that he's perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have a past. There's no one that is squeaky clean. But the challenge is convincing voters that the conversation should be about Maine's future instead of his past. So with the Democratic primary just a few days away, again, it's June 9th. This is becoming harder and harder to do. So for Graham, congratulations, man. When your own campaign strategy meeting starts sounding like a marital counseling session, you've officially earned a spot in the Pardon the Politics pickle jar, bro. You're in the brine, bro. I'm going to be watching this race because I truly want to see how this impacts the decision on June 9th. And I think if history repeats itself, he's going to have a problem.
See, he should have been in Texas.
Hey, had you been in Texas? Oh, man.
Everything's legal in Texas.
Well, it might not be legal, but they ignore it.
You did what? To who?
To who?
None of my business. We're voting for you. So that is my pickle of the week. So to our listeners, we have reached the conclusion of our episode. And at the conclusion of our episode, we always, before we leave you, love to bring you our spotlights of the week. So my brother Manny, I'm going to go to you first. And what is your spotlight that you have for this week?
Well, they say some of the best time to drop news that you don't want anyone to focus on is Friday afternoon. And that's what we have here. But before we begin there, I'd like everyone we're going to take a quick journey. We're going to go way back in the time.
Back in the time.
Yes, sir.
Back to episode 9 of this season, where we talked about Operation Epic Fury. And in that episode, we asked the question is, how deep is the U.S. entanglement with Israel, and how deep is it actually going to go? Well, we got that answer this week, and it's called Section 224 of the 2027 NDAA. And no one's talking about it at this point. It's also very early. So the NDAA is the National Defense Authorization Act. It's an annual bill that Congress passes to set up military policy and authorize what we're going to be spending money on. I think it's a key point here to know that it has passed every year since 1961 without interruption. It's never stopped. We've hit it every single time because it has to pass. And it is legislation that could not survive on its own, so it kind of gets buried. But Section 24 is an example of them essentially burying it. So what Section 224 of this year's edition of it is the United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. And it structurally starts linking the United States and Israel together. There are 4 core provisions of it. The first one, it designates a single Pentagon executive agent. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they know what that means right now. But it's this one person whose sole job is to coordinate military cooperation between the U.S. and Israel across all defense domains. The second provision authorizes bilateral research and development, co-production of weapons, various joint ventures and licensing agreements across AI, quantum computing, autonomous systems, directed energy, cyber, and biotech weapons. The third one is it enables network integration and data fusion. And how this is phrased and how analysts are talking about it is it could give Israel access to virtually all of the U.S.'s military operational data. And the fourth provision expands Israel co-production facilities in the United States. So currently there are 2 of these facilities in Mississippi and Arkansas, basically creating American jobs that are tied to Israeli defense production. And this gets really interesting about the sharing, especially that third one, the third piece about the data fusion problem. So basically, if the U.S. and Israel militaries are integrated, they get all of our data. So our battlefield data for U.S. operations could flow into Israeli systems and back and forth. So we're talking data that the U.S. has from Gaza that we haven't released to them, from Lebanon, from Iran, all of our allies in the region. They could potentially have all that information just inherently linked with their AIs. What does the U.S. get out of it? The U.S. gets access to a lot of Israeli tech. I think what we've seen with the operation in Iran, what we've seen in Gaza, what we've seen in Lebanon, the U.S. now gets access to that we know has been tested in the field. But it's really that AI data infrastructure that becomes really, really interesting. And one of the biggest arguments right now is the lack of transparency and oversight over what America would be sharing and vice versa. And basically, this is all being done with very little public debate that we wouldn't really get, that we would get in Congress if this came through naturally. No hearing, no amendments, and they buried it in a 500-page bill that passes like clockwork. So some people are starting to have problems with this. A couple key people to keep in mind is Mike Rogers, who I'm just going to state a very quick fact here, has received $122,000 from AIPAC over his career per Open Secrets. I'm just listing that as a fact. You do with that information what you will. But he was the one that put this in there. Several people, including Richard Hudson and Ted Budd, have all come to say, like, yes, we need to do this. We need to, be backing Israel. We need to be protecting them. Obviously, there are some people who are vastly against this. Representative Massey, who has already come out and said that he plans to put in an amendment to strip this out of this. What this means is that if this passes, the U.S. would be very deeply tied to Israel in ways that we aren't tied with anybody. If the United States decided to integrate our military with Canada, people would be like, whoa, what are we doing here? And I think this is a concern for NATO, because NATO, being one of our closest allies, look, we don't have any type of relationship with Germany, with Korea, with Japan, the UK. We don't have this type of relationship with them as well. And then now we also look at a situation where, what does Iran think about this? What does China think about this? How do they start feeling about it? And I think it could become a really touchy situation, especially for us to be so deeply entrenched in protecting somebody and giving them access to our data and information. As everything with AI and data continues to heat up, what are we sharing with them? What will they have access to? And I think the better question also might be, what won't they have access to? So I think this is a very, very, really touchy situation. And the question I have for our listeners is, does this concern you? This is not the UK. This is not Germany. This is not France. But this is a structural military access that we would be giving Israel to America. And do we want that? Especially in a time when there seems to be conflicting feelings about Israel And you take away those feelings for Israel about what we should be dedicating our military efforts and our financial efforts towards should be here in America. Is this really America first? We don't know. Big key here is that, again, this is passed like clockwork every single year. This has to be voted on, I believe, before October 1st. So we will be likely hearing a lot about this. And we'll see what happens. And that is my spotlight of the week. And we'll kind of see how this plays out over the next couple of weeks. Especially, I know one of the provisions that Iran had with the U.S. is that, hey, if we sign this deal, we open the strait, you guys have to get out of the Middle East. Okay, we could do that now. This situation, we could do that now. We could get completely out of the Middle East. But if we have this agreement with Israel, we are forever in the Middle East as well. And that's my spotlight of the week.
That's major.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll go next with my spotlight of the week. So I want to use my spotlight of the week to focus on something that has largely disappeared from the headlines here in the United States, and basically it has not disappeared at all from reality. And I want to use my spotlight on that. While much of the world's attention has shifted to elections, domestic policies, China, Russia, and even Iran, the people of Gaza are still living through a humanitarian catastrophe. And this week, there was a development that should have received far more attention than it did. So that's what I'm going to use my spotlight for. Big Benny, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, announced that he has directed the Israeli military, to expand its control of Gaza to 70% of the territory. Israeli officials say that it currently controls roughly 60% and intend to increase the footprint despite the ceasefire framework that had previously established a lower level of territorial control. Now, let's put this in perspective. Gaza is already one of the most densely populated places on earth. More than 2 million Palestinians have been squeezed into an increasingly smaller area after years of war, displacement, destruction to infrastructure, and repeated military operations. If Israel expands its control to 70% of the territory, that means that millions of civilians would have effectively be concentrated into an even smaller portion of land. So critics have argued that that would worsen an already dire humanitarian situation and make daily life even more difficult for ordinary Palestinians trying to survive. And in this, regardless of where you stand politically, the images coming out of Gaza over the last several years have been devastating, from destroyed neighborhoods to displaced families, to hospitals being overwhelmed and children growing up knowing little other than conflict. So the bigger question in this is, the reason this is my spotlight is not because it's new. It's because it isn't, right? It's becoming an uncomfortable reality right now. And we've become accustomed to it. A story that once dominated every newscast now barely breaks through the noise. The death tolls are still climbing. The humanitarian concerns are still continuing. Entire communities remain displaced, yet many people have simply moved on because another crisis somehow has taken center stage. And when we think about that, history shows us something very dangerous in all of this. When suffering becomes routine, it becomes easier for the world to ignore it. So the key thing to watch in the coming weeks is whether international communities respond in any actual meaningful way. Will there be pressure from the United States with him going up another 10% to 70% when there were framework of a ceasefire to reduce that territorial pressure? Will European allies push back? Will regional Arab powers increase, their diplomatic efforts? Or will the expansion just simply become another fact on the ground that eventually fades from public attention? Because once territory changes, hands and populations are displaced long enough, temporary measures have a way of becoming permanent realities for those people. So whether you view this war as a war against Hamas, a humanitarian disaster, an occupation, or genocide, one fact in all of this is undeniable. And that is millions of Palestinians are still trapped in the middle of it. And as political observers, we can debate policies, we can debate governments, we can debate military strategies, but we should never become so accustomed by the politics of everything that we stop seeing the people. So that's why Gaza is my spotlight. Not because it's the newest news. It's because it's a story that the world has seen, in my opinion, to forget. So that's my spotlight, brothers.
And
go ahead, man.
the one thing that I'll just add for context for our listeners, Israel's not that big of a country. I believe Israel is the same size as New Jersey.
Yeah.
They're skewing when you look at a globe, but Israel is the size of New Jersey. So take that into account when you realize that you have this area that's even being compressed down further. Yeah.
Agreed. And both of you gave some amazing spotlights. And before I go into my spotlight, I saw a video and your spotlights brought it back to my remembrance. There's a Michigan U.S. Senate candidate named Abdul El Said, and he said something that resonated with me amazingly. And I want to bring that up right now, following up both of your points in your spotlights, but particularly with Jeezy, because what I don't want people to do is have a skewed and distorted view of what we're saying. And what El Said said is that, and I want to get his exact quote from him. He said that going against the Israeli state and AIPAC and the Israeli government is not synonymous with going against Judaism and the Jewish people.
Facts.
He said calling out anti-Semitism as Zionism is not anti-Semitic. And that's a dangerous tactic that people have done and used to try to shield the Israeli government and its policies and scrutinize how they are treating people. So I want y'all to understand this. What my brothers have said has nothing to do with Jewish people as an entity or as a person. This is a critique of the Israeli state.
Government.
And the government, which here in America, we have every right to do.
For now.
True indeed.
And to add to that, Chuck, and I'll let you go. And I can't stand that this happens, but I feel like I have to say it. The pushback on Israel is no way, shape, form, or fashion speaking ill of the Israel that we read in the Bible. I wish y'all would stop putting them together. I wish y'all would stop putting that together as Christians. But go ahead, brother.
So my spotlight this week, I don't know if I can follow y'all. I had something, and my past two spotlights have been pretty heavy, so I wanted to come with a spotlight that was a little lighter. And so I saw a video on Instagram where these guys, their Instagram page, and I got to give them their prop, is called The Makeshift Project. And they have some quirky different things on there. So I felt that there was something very important to share with people. They came and dropped a video of 5 phone numbers everybody should know. Now, the interesting thing about this is nowadays nobody knows anybody's phone number.
When the last time you opened the white pages or the yellow pages?
Bruh,
we were proper people.
When's the last time I got a delivery of the white pages of the yellow pages? We were proper people when I remember plop that book on your porch.
Yep. I remember my grandma said, "You want pizza? Find the number in that book and call it in. I'll go
Yes,
pick it
sir.
up."
Yes, sir. But oh man, that just took me back down memory lane. But these 5 phone numbers, the first one, 707-998-840, is a pep talk number. And this is what's interesting about this phone number is you can call, and if you're down, you could have kindergartners give you a pep talk and uplift your spirits. The next number, 719-266-2837. Parents of young kids, you might want to hold on to this number. This is the Santa Claus hotline. So you can call this line and Santa Claus can talk with your child. This next number is a very interesting number because I really don't think they check the messages, nor do they care. It's 202-456-1111. And that's the White House comment line.
You gonna get that. This inbox is full.
The next number, ladies, you might want to hold on to this one. 605-475-6964. This is from a company called humor.com, and this is the rejection hotline. If a guy asks you for your phone number and you don't want to give him your real number, you can give him this number, and if he calls it later, he's going to find out it was him, not you. The last number that they gave is a very vital number, and I think it's important that everyone holds on to. And this number is more for texting than calling, is 741-741. And this is the texting version of 911. So if you're in a precarious situation where you cannot talk or you're in fear and not wanting to speak or hiding, you can use this to text 911 and communicate via that way. They provided 5, but who am I to stop there? Although 5 is the most amazing number.
Here y'all go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here y'all go.
This is 5 and another, because I'm not going to say another number after this. It's 5 and another.
Mm-hmm.
And this number is probably the most iconic number in all of the history of numbers.
Hey.
281-330-8004.
Hey.
Hit Mike Jones upon the low because Mike Jones spouts for blow.
There's a whole generation that don't know nothing about
They
that,
don't know
bro.
nothing.
No idea.
What a time. What a time.
The time to be alive. That is my spotlight for the week, my good brothers.
Hey, well, before we go home, we will first of all say 2 things. Like, share, follow the podcast on all social media platforms. We greatly appreciate it. Reach one, teach one, and we all can laugh and either cry together. So join the podcast, join the community. We got some really great things that'll be coming out pretty soon over the course of the next couple of months. So get your seat in the building early before it fills up. And
Don't
ain't
be
nothing
mad
like
when it's sold
trying
out.
to get to the club. it ain't nothing like getting to the club, bro, and you can't get in. So join us, like, share, follow, spread PTP to all those that you know in your inner and outer circle. Also, too, want to say a huge thanks to all the listeners who tuned in to our special edition episode that we had with the president of the NCAE. We had a tremendous time having that opportunity with her, Miss Tamika Walker Kelly, that came and blessed us with her knowledge and expertise in the job that she is doing as president. So for those listeners, we thank you for tuning in to that special edition. We hope there will be many, many more in the future of PTP. So if you are someone who's listening that is in the political landscape in some shape, form, or fashion, both directly or indirectly, and would like to be a guest, hit us up. Hit us up on our social, email, and we'll go from there. But certainly thank those that listened and tuned in, and I hope that it was a tremendous blessing to you as it was us to have someone of her expertise join us on the podcast. So with that being said, brothers, hearts and minds clear. Anything else? Any announcements? Anything need to be said?
Just want to reemphasize the point. If you have not listened to that special edition episode, please Do
Please
yourself a
do.
favor. Go back and listen to it. It may even, if not motivate you to get out there and make a difference in a child's life. It'll get you pointing in the right direction. But yeah, it was a very special episode. Looking forward to anything we do in the future of that same ilk. But yeah, it was a good time.
Yes.
And if you already listened to it, listen to it again and share it to somebody else.
Yeah, tell them about
Run it
tell them
back.
about- Yeah,
Again.
run it back.
Run it back. Maybe you missed something that you got a question on it or something that might spark a desire, interest in you. Listen to it again. But yeah, certainly thank you for that. Brother Manny, all hearts and minds clear, brother. You good?
All good over here.
All right. Well, as always here, we thank you for lending us your ear for the duration of this episode. And as we always tell you, if don't nobody love you, just know the boys here at the pod. We love you. We love you.
y'all.
We love you. We thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you at the next episode. So take care, world.
Yeah.
Peace.